Hello, Arden here. Back with the first video I've done in a few weeks. Basically, ever since the patch came in on the which allowed scanning in low sec, I decided I'd wait till the frenzy of scanning died down, concentrate on the Concord Pass missions, which you could run quite easily in high sec, and basically lay low for a little while until T10 hit. Anyway, T10 hit for my main account this morning. I'll just quickly show you. If I jump into my skills screen here, you can see it says a level 10 there, 100%. I did get that little level up screen, which I didn't, for some reason, it just flashed up, nothing else kind of appeared. And obviously you can see it's not making any progress towards tech level T11. So it's kind of stuck there now, so I don't know if the skill points will be accruing. I don't know what the kind of situation will be, but anyway, that's not the reason I wanted to do this video today. Obviously the other thing that happened with hitting T10 is now I can access the T10 encounter missions. So if I pop across here to my encounter screen here, you can see what I have done is, well, I'll just pop into the new screen here. I'm just going to take off here currently. I was demonstrating transport missions for someone. Let's just take that off. So you can see here, this is the expert missions. You can see just over here, it's the expert. And now you've got these 3 million, 2.5 million, 3 million, 2.5 million, 3 and 2.5 million, so on missions. Now, I wasn't sure if these were going to be in low sec or high sec, but it turns out that basically the standard ones, the 2.5 and 3 million missions, are actually in high sec. So for those mission runners that were very upset with the changes on scanning, it seems that once you hit T10 you can actually still earn a reasonable amount of ISK running these kind of standard missions in high sec relatively fully safely. I've actually just picked up 4: communication jammer search, mining area safety concern, freedom extension fleet, refugee left behind, which are all in this system of heck. I'll just show you the actual mission. So you can see 2.5 million recommended ships, T10 battleship, active ship, T9 battleship. I haven't actually upgraded anything else yet. I'm still in my previous setup. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to get this into my... I'm not actually going to run that right now, not that one right now. I haven't run one of these T10 missions yet. I don't know how hard they are. My impression would be that they would be of a similar level of difficulty to the 3.5, 4 million, 5 million ISK missions that I can run quite easily on the previous level, but I don't know. It could be an interesting experiment. My ship at the moment isn't optimally set up for PvE because I have been over the last couple of days running a lot of low sec missions. So what I did was I adjusted my fitting. I'll just quickly show here for a more PvP oriented setup. So you can see here I changed out the torpedoes to rapids because torpedoes really won't hit anybody orbiting me at any kind of speed. I put in webs, I put in a 30 kilometer point, I put in 1 target painter, and again additional tank, additional tank with a damage control, and then obviously 2 damage mods, and that's replicated on my other Raven. And I've also got a command cyclone, so I've got this little mini fleet. You can see my DPS there is 1892 cold, which is a lot less than when I was doing torps. So I haven't changed the setup. I just wanted to kind of jump in and actually do one of these missions, see if it's possible. Could be a complete disaster. I could lose my ship. I hope not, but I thought I'd kind of give you guys an idea of what you're going to face in the sort of standard expert missions, the ones with the 2.5 to 3 million bounty or reward, and give you an idea. So what I'm going to do is stop talking now and actually get warped in to see how this goes. Let me see, refugee left behind here is the first one, fleet command, warp fleet. So let's turn my hardeners on, turn my hardeners on my other 2 ships as well, and we will head on in there. Actually, I've been using a PvP setup the last couple of days when I've been doing low sec missions. Actually, the low sec missions I didn't get jumped at all. I got pinged 3 or 4 times. It was clear people were looking at me, but because I was flying in this fleet with 2 Ravens and a command cyclone, people left me alone. So anyway, my cyclone has actually arrived now. There is in the first wave a battleship, a battle cruiser. Hang on, let me just get everything turned on. There is a Maelstrom 10. Let's focus on our approach. So they're all bashing on my cyclone at the moment because it was the first one to warp in here. So that's at 19 kilometers. I'm going to try and close the distance. As I said, this setup here was just kind of optimized. It was more for PvP, just in case anyone jumped me. So obviously once I get used to these missions and encounters, I will tweak it to try and kind of produce the best results. So there we go, we're in range now of my webs, which I'm going to slam on. So this first wave, though, the first wave is always pretty easy in any of these encounters, so this doesn't seem too difficult so far. I'm taking a little bit of shield damage. I'm not going to turn my shield booster on yet. And let's just kind of close on that stabber a little bit. The nice thing I found with the Rapids is obviously it's got that 45 kilometer range, so I don't have to micromanage it quite as much as I did when I was flying the torpedoes. But the torpedoes, certainly when you've got a lot of battleships and battle cruisers, do make a big difference. So once I've done a few of these encounters, I will have a look at possibly tweaking if I find it's better to go with torpedoes, then I'll do that. Okay, so that's the first wave down. Let's have a look at the second wave. What have we got and what kind of distance are they at? Okay, so we've got a Maelstrom, very close, focus fire approach, turn on my webs. My damage controls. Yeah, I know a lot of you who do watch this aren't actually playing in a fleet, and do be aware that I am flying with Command Cyclone. That does give about 10% bonus to shields, does reduce the cap usage on my shield booster too. So as I said, this does seem quite easy, but don't be fooled if you're flying it solo. It could be a bit more tricky than it's looking here. So yeah, this seems to be going down quite nicely. I'll collect some loot as we're going. I forgot to turn off my shield booster on my other account, so I need to do that. So you can see this wave is going down quite nicely, quite rapidly. Okay, and then here's the final wave. I assume it's the final wave. I don't really know. It could be that there's more waves in these ones. Okay, so we have a Typhoon there. There's a Typhoon focus fire. That's going to be primary target at 40 kilometers, so quite a long way away. That would be a real pain if I was using torpedoes. Mods. They're all shooting on the second Raven. I'm going to turn on his shield booster and turn this shield booster on. Let's loot as we go. Take a look at the loot at the end. We'll see what kind of stuff we're getting. My shield booster, wasting some cap there. Okay, that's because of the loot. So yeah, once I get used to this, I will play around with my setup to kind of optimize it for these. But as I mentioned, these are high sec missions. So these were, I picked them up in Mirror Item, which is a couple of jumps from here, which is low sec. And then, as you can see, I got 4 missions in the same system, which is this system of heck. Which I think I've mentioned before is pretty good, especially once my other accounts hit T10. I could be theoretically up to about 15 missions in this one, 15 encounters in this one system. So there you go. You can see it's a 2.5 to 2.2 million bounty, reward. Obviously, then I'm picking up the bounties as well. That didn't appear to be too difficult. I'm just going to turn on my shield booster for a second. And what we're going to do is we'll just go in, because that was quite quick. We'll just jump into the next one so you can see how this goes. Okay, so that was the refugee left behind, and we've got this one, mining area security or safety concern. Fleet command, warp fleet. And in we go to the next one. Let's just double check my cyclone is okay. Yeah, everything's fine. Let's change that back to loots as well. So as you can see, these are relatively straightforward missions. There wasn't anything surprising there. It was definitely easier than the hard level, the 3 to 5 million encounters on the hard level. So if you're able to do those without any concern, then you should be able to do this. Okay, so my cyclone has arrived and is taking fire. Okay, prime is going to be a raven. Let's approach that. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll run the first 4 so you can just kind of get an idea of what kind of tick, like the bounty tick will be like as well running these. I think if I do 4, I should get 1 tick within this, without making this video too long. So let's see, yeah. So they're concentrating their fire currently on my turn on my webs now. Everything's nicely in range. Really doing sort of minimal damage to me at the moment. No concern at all. So again, this is something I might possibly look at reducing my tank and going with a bit of extra DPS. Again, I just wanted to get a feel for what kind of ranges they're coming in at. Obviously, if I do go with torps, then I need to kind of stick some kind of prop mod on so that I can actually close range quite quickly. Okay, so here we go. We've got a scorpion here. Focus fire, approach. They're focusing on my Drake currently, so I've just turned his shield on. Sorry, my cyclone, not my Drake. Okay, and again, apply the damage mods there. And the webs, because I'm close enough. Do that. Just letting it kind of auto-target. My cyclone is on about 90% shields, but only about 50% cap. As I said, be aware that I am using a command cyclone, so that does boost up both my shields, and also reduces the cap usage on my shield booster. Provides slightly better resist as well, but that doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Let's approach that, get a bit closer. Let's find this caracal, which I think is going to melt pretty rapidly. Okay, so final wave coming up. Here we go. And again, nothing too scary there. 1 battleship, 1 battle cruiser. So focus fire on the rock. And again, target painter on. It's out of web range, so I can't do anything with that. Same with my second one, focus fire approach. And yeah, finally my They're actually shooting it. It looks like they're shooting at my other Raven. So I'm actually going to apply the damage here. Okay, so auto target is close enough to stick the webs on now, which does increase the damage of the missiles, even on the larger targets, but definitely on the smaller targets makes a big difference in terms of helping the missiles apply the damage. So just checking out my shield boosters running out, is running on my second. Will do as we go. Turn my shield booster on for a second there, so we can see that was another 2.2 after tax. Okay, turn the shield booster off after one cycle. Okay, haven't had a tick yet, so we'll just jump into the next one. Again, hopefully this won't take too long. There's communication jam and search. So you can see it's quite efficient in terms of time. If you stack up a few missions in the same system, you don't really have to waste too much time flying around, and especially, as I said, it's just in mirror item. With one refresh you normally get between 3 and 5 missions in heck. A couple of refreshes will normally guarantee 5, and if you're doing that on multiple accounts, so for example in my case I've got 3 accounts, I can stack up 15 missions, albeit my other Raven and my Cyclone are still not T10 yet, and won't be for a while, probably about 6 months actually for my Cyclone. That account, my third account, I started it much later. So yeah, once again my Cyclone is in first, so that's who they're primarying. Again, a Tempest here, so it looks like the standard, again this is the third one I've done now. The standard looks like a battleship, battlecruiser, cruiser, and then some smaller stuff. Stick my damage mods on, I'll just check my Cyclone, it's doing okay. Yeah, I might actually stay with this kind of setup, because again it does seem to be working quite well. I might experiment a little bit, but again, it's, if I do get those 5 million missions, I have been running those the last 2 or 3 days in low sec, and as I said, I've been pinged a few times by people doing scans, but no one has actually landed on top of me, because I guess 2 Ravens and a Cyclone with rapids and lots of webs, lots of painters is pretty scary for most kind of random. Obviously this is Eve. At some point some well-prepared gang will find me and kind of ruin my fun. But again, the 4 or 5 million ISK hard missions, they don't pop up that often. So basically, I'm only doing those kind of randomly. So it's not like I'm exposing myself all the time in low sec. Probably the wrong choice of words there. Exposing myself in low sec. Alright, so the second wave here. Very laggy since the patch actually, I've noticed. Okay, so we've got Maelstrom in range as well, which is nice. So again, I'm still running these, and obviously my 2 Ravens are T9. I haven't got any of the nano cores or anything else on these yet. So there will be an opportunity to kind of upgrade these. I've been saving my Concorde points. I've got about 45,000 stacked up. I'm hoping that they will have something that does have a better bonus for the kind of missile boats. We'll see. And the other thing that I'm going to look at is obviously looking at the ship, is the Typhoon 2 looks very nice. Again, especially with the kind of the bonuses could actually make torpedoes even nicer, especially in applying damage to smaller ships. I find that torpedoes actually work quite well as long as you've got plenty of webs and plenty of painters. Torpedoes actually work very well. The only downside is obviously the range that I've talked about before. But with the Typhoon, I think it will be even easier for the torpedoes to really apply their DPS to cruisers, destroyers and frigates. So I'm looking forward to actually getting hold of one of those and doing some experimentation with it. So let's collect some of the loot as we go. Okay, and here's the final, is it the final wave? I can't remember, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, it's another Maelstrom, focus fire approach. Again, let's stick on my target painter. Here we go, another Maelstrom. Yeah, so just getting all my targets onto all my guns onto the same target. I think this is the third wave of this one. And then what we'll do is I'll have a quick look at the loot. It should be T10 loot, I guess. And let's see. I'm going to take on my damage control, might as well use it. 2 damage ones there as well. Again, this is pretty, so far, I would say this is pretty easy, especially considering that, again, I'm not using any of the T10 ships yet, not using any of the nanocores yet. So definitely, if you're one of those mission runners who feels a bit miffed about the scanning changes, it does look like you will still be able to make good ISK in low sec very safely, if that is your thing. I mean, I like doing encounters, not necessarily because of the risk of getting into a fight or dying. I do it because my lifestyle means that I don't have the time to dedicate to kind of doing longer. I don't even do the storylines because they just take too long. It's basically I can get interrupted very rapidly, very quickly with work and family. So I need to do things I can pick up and put down very quickly. So that's why I do with missions. So I've even been doing the low sec missions the last few days, and kind of enjoying those. Actually, the chance of PvP actually spices up a little bit. So, but if you are one of those mission runners that feels like, oh, can't do anything in low sec anymore for whatever reason, then certainly if you start doing these kind of new missions, the T10 missions, it does look like it will be a reasonable income for you. So I've got one more to do. Let's have a look. I'll just pick up this loot. Again, I'm not running around for the loot, I'm just picking up the stuff in range. Let's just check shields on everybody. They're all okay. I can put mine on here for a few cycles and also on my other ship. Okay, let's just see if there's anyone else in range of anything. Okay, no, I think we can walk into the next one. Let's turn that off now. Always forget. So mission, and the fourth one here is Freedom Extension Fleet under attack, Fleet Command Warp Fleet. So this is, you're literally seeing my first experience at T10 because I logged in about half an hour ago, saw I'd logged up, and then kind of got those missions and then came over here. So this is literally my first breaking my T10 virginity, so to speak. Okay. Okay, it looks like Maelstroms again on this one. Actually, let's focus fire on the Maelstrom approach. Yeah. So once again, they're wailing on my Cyclone in the first wave, which is fine. I did actually kind of tank that up a little bit more because I know that it always takes a beating in that first wave, especially it being a battle cruiser. When I have the Shield Command module running and the 2 hardeners, it makes the EHP on the Cyclone about 75,000, which is pretty reasonable. So it can take a bit of damage. Oh, look, there was the first tick. Okay, which was 4.5 million. Let's approach this Cyclone. Yeah, so that was 4.5 million in bounties, but remember that was split across 3 accounts. So that was 4.5 million on each account, so that's what, 9? It's about 13.5 million in addition to the rewards for completing the missions, which has been about 2.2 million after tax for each one. And in terms of time, let me see, this video is up to 25 minutes. I probably talked for about 5 minutes at the beginning before I walked in anywhere. So in about 20 minutes, made about 22 million or so. Again, that's using 3 accounts, so you'd have to divide that up. That doesn't include whatever I'll get for selling whatever loot I've collected, which again isn't that valuable, but does add up over time. I just actually went up to Jita a couple of days ago and sold a whole bunch of crap and made about 400 million on it. Okay, let's see. Approaching here. The maelstrom is in web range now. I actually didn't realise I wasn't actually shooting my Cyclone. It's pretty low DPS, it's only about 800, but I'd actually forgotten to turn the guns on, so that's why this one's taking a little bit longer. I'm a very bad multitasker, I'm afraid. Okay, let's close again, focus right here. Start closing on that bellicose. Okay, so I think that's the final wave coming up now. Yep. Okay. So it's showing me that I have 2 cyclones here. Okay, there's a typhoon. Focus fire, approach. And again, same again. Let's turn on my damage, try and kill this as quickly as possible. And yeah, they're attacking my cyclone again. They do like picking on my cyclone. I don't know why. I guess it's because he's slightly faster than battleship, so he tends to get closer. So when each new wave comes in, they always tend to pick on him. Okay. So you take very minimal damage on my battleships. Turn the webs on now as I'm close enough. Again, that just kind of helps with applying the damage, although you don't really have too much damage issues with that when you're using the rapids. That's more useful when you're using the torpedoes. Okay. It's closing on this maelstrom here. Surprised I haven't actually shot that first, but here we go. I don't know if there was, was there 2 on that one? Oh, actually, yeah, look, I've got a battleship wreck. Oh, but that could be the historic battleship wreck, I'm not sure. Maybe. Sometimes, again, on the 4 and 5 million missions on the hard level, you do get 2 battleships in the final wave sometimes. It's possible that we had 2 here, but again, I'm not quite sure. I wasn't paying enough attention. Okay, stick that on, stick my damage mods on, try and finish this off quickly now. There we go, and then just the cyclone to finish off. Okay, so there we go. As you can see, that was actually 2.6 million after tax. Yeah, because it looks like maybe that's why there was 2 battleships in the final wave. Maybe there was, because that is definitely a larger bounty on that one. Okay, just turn off my shield boosters again. I'm in high sec here, so I can sit here peacefully. Let me just show you now. We'll go into my cache here. Okay, so you can see here the first bounty tick reward there. Let's just actually do it through this one. So bounty rewards. So you can see I hadn't played since last night. 23.49, my second one there. So this is my first bounty tick. It was 4.8 million, which again, that was across the 3 accounts that were in the gang fighting these encounters. So almost 5 million each, so it's about 15 million plus. Then if you look at the mission offer here, you can see I did 4 missions there, 3 million, 2.5 million, 2.5 million, 2.5 million, so 7.5, so that's about 10 million. So that's about 25 million ISK in half an hour, which I think is not too bad. It's definitely a way of kind of making sure you can kind of keep your ships fitted. I personally like running the camp missions. I don't have much time, but I also occasionally will venture into some PvP, so it's a nice way of having some ships, having enough cash to kind of keep my ships in set up and capable on that side of things. So is there anything else I want to show you? Let's have a quick look here. No, Concord Pass you've already seen. Just got to pop into the encounter screen again here. So go to news board. So you can see there, these are all the kind of expert missions. If I combat missions, I'll do a quick. Actually, I won't do I'll do a refresh actually, just so you can see. Actually, I'm just wondering if I just put down to hard for a second, does it actually change? No, it doesn't. I have to kind of actually refresh it. Don't want to waste that now because I want to go back to mirror item and do it there, so I can pick up some more missions. So there you have it. So my first experience with T10. Certainly the hard encounters, the expert encounters, regular encounters in high sec are not that difficult. Again, I'm flying with fleet, makes it a lot easier. I'm flying with a Cyclone Command ship, which defensively helps a lot. So it definitely would be more difficult if you're solo, but it's certainly doable. So hope that was interesting. Thank you for watching. If you do like this kind of content, then please do like and subscribe. Thank you for now. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.